This is Soul's End, an auto-battler roguelike about arranging huge armies and witnessing awesome battles. It's juicy, it's got synergies, events, and even a crocodile boss called Sobek. My nickname for him is Sobi. But it wasn't always like this. A few months ago, Soul's End looked like this. Yeah, not the worst, but not the best. Art really has never been my strong suit, and becoming a game dev has made me let's just say, very aware of that. Luckily for devs like me, there's a hidden secret energy that we can all tap into. Something that can give us unlimited power. Drum roll. It's juice. It's that pizzazz, the good stuff. The shimmy, yimmy, yeah, yeah, shimmy, shimmy, yeah. Swalla la la. It's practically liquid gold, and the game at this point was in dire need of it. So what really is juice? Some might say it's particle effects, screen shake, sound effects, shaders, but it's more than that. It's really hard to pin down a concrete definition of juice, and that's because it's more like a feeling. It's that feeling you get when you're playing a game and you say to yourself, wow, this is nice. This feels good. Give me more. I want more. So you can say juice equals game feel. A juicy game is a game that feels good to play. With this new understanding of juice, I set out on the task of juicifying my game. Now, what better place to start than my main menu? My main menu was as sad as it gets. To be fair, I had already worked on some button sound effects, and I do think that helped juice up the screen. Making the small interactions a player constantly does feel juicy is very important to game feel. But visually, I don't think a pure black screen is appealing enough. Now, I've contemplated many ways to make a background for this menu. For instance, I could have taken the Hero's Hour approach and had huge battles play out in the background. While I do think this would have been really entertaining and honestly a really good idea, it just didn't sit right with me. To me, Soul's End isn't just an auto battler. It's a story I want to tell. I think games are the ultimate form of storytelling. To me, the best games let players step into a handcrafted world and tell their own story. Now, I'm not making an RPG, at least anymore, but nonetheless, I want a story here. I want a vibe, and that's a necessary part of game feel. So, I created this main menu. It's supposed to be an odd realm filled with only void, water, and a few fires to light the area. A realm where death resides. It may only be just a bit brighter than what I started with, but I think I nailed the overall vibe and aesthetic that I'm going for. With the main menu out of the way, it was time for us to get to the meat and potatoes, the defining interactions of the game loop. Placement. In Soul's End, you move these silly little dudes around on a grid to prepare for battles. Along with these dudes, you've also got items that can buff them in dramatically different ways. Each of these items also affect different tiles, and you'll be tinkering a lot to get the right positioning of your army. It was important to me to get the movement of these items feeling good, and what better way than sounds? I've got a deep appreciation for sound design in games. Playing a game with sound is an entirely different experience than without. And I really think good sound design is one of the main pillars of great game feel. So I went to work. I scoured the internet for royalty-free sounds, I purchased 1 or 2 packs, and then started to splice each and every sound effect to make them feel just right. And now, each item in the game has got some sounds to go with their interactions. To save on time, I've categorized a lot of the pickup and drop sounds, like for instance, these weapon sounds, or these trinket sounds. But at the same time, I've gone down a few rabbit holes, and I've made custom sound effects for items that don't really fit into any of the categories. For instance, my favorite one, the Mimic Slime. If that ain't juicy, I don't know what is. Now that I was done with these smaller player interactions, it was time to dip my toes into making the combat look more spectacular. Now, I had the basics down. Blood particles in the directions they were hit from, blood splatters on the floor, the white damage flash you've probably seen 1,000 times over. But there's a lot more to my game that needs some juicing. Take for instance one of the upgrade traits a Ragnarokian Huntress can take. In Soul's End, most units and items can be merged and upgraded once to unlock a new ability, stat changes, or increase the amount of tiles an item might affect. This particular upgrade for the Huntresses executes a unit when they reach 5% of their max health. Now, I could just evaporate an executed unit from existence when they die, but there's no fun in that. We need some spice, we need some juice. So, I think now is the time to add some gibs to the game. Gibs or giblets is a term coined by Adrian Carmack, the dude who's credited as the curator of Doom's grotesque and gory art style. Alright, I have no clue what that accent was. The term is used to describe the small little bits of flesh, bones, and organs that spawn when something gets obliterated in Doom. Nowadays, lots of games have implemented their own version of gibs, and I, for one, will not stand for my game not having them. So, after a bit of messing around with drawing and implementing them, our huntresses can now execute any foes they come across in splendid fashion. But the Huntress Execute effect was just the tip of the iceberg. I worked on making the player spells way more satisfying, some ice effects, these wisp dudes that explode into flames, fireballs that rain down from the sky when units crit, this chain lightning upgrade for the scholars that is just too OP, like no matter what I do to this thing, it just works too well. And honestly, I've worked on a whole lot more. Too much in fact, to share in this video. If you want to get a glimpse at some of the juice I haven't shown, you should try out the first act of the game. It's free to download and playtest on Steam. I'd love for some feedback on the game, as I have been developing this thing like a Tibetan monk. I've lost like 95% of my social skills. So any bit of feedback or just conversation about the game would be awesome. I'm really trying to build a community and involve as many people interested in the development of this game as possible. You can join up on the Discord, chat in Steam discussions, or even in the comments of this video. If you're a little shy, you can just wishlist the game. That works too. Any bit helps. Hope you enjoyed the video, but it's time for me to get back to making the juice flow. Peace.